Welcome back. Another phone, another year, I guess. I don't know what to say. The Samsung Galaxy S21 just came out, and I feel like I'm not even done using the S20. Like, it's so weird. It feels like the S20 just came out. It's the craziest thing ever. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a comparison between them. Obviously, if you want the latest and greatest, the S21 is the best way to go. But the S20, if you still have it, by all means keep it. There's no reason to go and upgrade to the S21. And in some ways, it's actually a downgrade. Now, I'll find the cheapest ones of both of these, link them down in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, you can actually see that there is a little bit of a difference, and most people won't be able to tell. We do have a 120Hz displays on both, which is great. We do have the same 6.2-inch panels, but the one on the S21 is actually 1080p, where the S20 was 1440p, so kind of weird that it downgraded. Also, we now have a flat display, where we kind of had a curved edge on the S20. So it may be a big deal to you, maybe not, but definitely when you feel both, and when you actually hold both, I actually kind of like the curved edge on the S20. It kind of gives it a little bit, less bezel impression. There may be the same amount of bezel, I don't know, but I do kind of feel like the S20 kind of just reminds me of the Galaxy A series right now. You know what I mean? Where the S20 actually kind of felt like a better phone in some ways. So keep that in mind. Now, you also don't have any micro SD card slot support on the S21, which that automatically is a huge L in my opinion. Even though the S21 may be faster and this and that, that's such a huge L in my opinion. I don't know why they did that. Both have IP certification though, which is great, but still kind of an annoyance. Now on the bottom, USB Type-C ports on both, so not really a big change there, pretty much the same thing. Power button and volume buttons on the same sides as well. However, on the back, there's a little bit of a difference. So the plastic back on the Galaxy S21, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that by now, it doesn't feel horrible. It kind of feels more like the Note 20 at first. When I first unboxed it, it didn't feel as bad, but now because it's much warmer, before it was colder, it kind of felt like glass. On the S20, we have a glass back, but here's the funny thing, right? Visually, the S21 looks like the better phone. I don't know what Samsung was thinking with the S20. It does look really old. It doesn't look ugly. It just looks so bland and like so, I don't know what they were thinking with this. The S21 visually looks far better, but feeling in the hand, the S20 feels like the better device ultimately. So take that as you will. I don't think they both have wireless charging, reverse wireless charging, but if you want to combine both, but when you combine both, that's pretty much the feeling we get from like the Note 20 Ultra or the S21 Plus or the S21 Ultra. So in terms of the outside, that really pretty much covers it up for the most part. Now, moving on to the software and I guess battery life side of things, this is probably one of the bigger differences between these two phones. I really don't think there's a big difference, from going to the S20 to the S21. I feel like I stated before, it's a downgrade in many areas, but in this specific case, the software is going to be giving you a better experience on the S21 than on the S20. And the reason why that's important is because, you're going to be getting a longer lasting phone from the S21. Now, there's also some people saying, I actually don't know anybody who said this, I just made that up, but I could also see in the future somehow Samsung increasing their lifespan even more from their device. So the S20 is not going to be outdated anytime soon. It's still going to be lasting for quite a bit of time, but there could be a chance where the S21 during its life cycle could randomly get another version of software, just like Samsung just did it. And if Google increases their lifespan, I could see Samsung doing the same. Who knows? It could happen. But ultimately, the Samsung Galaxy S21 is going to be lasting you at least 1 year longer than the S20 when it comes down to software support. Now, beyond that, the battery life in these, because it is designated and kind of, determined straight from the hardware, sometimes itself and sometimes the software. They both have 4,000 mAh batteries, but a huge thing to keep in mind is that because you do have, I have to say it, a lower resolution panel on the S21, this could potentially mean battery savings to you. When you're using both phones, you may actually see that you may get better battery life from the Samsung Galaxy S21 than over the Samsung Galaxy S20. And I'm not even used to saying S21 yet. So that may be a big deal to you, it may not be, but at the end of the day, it is something to consider. I would say the battery life should theoretically be better on the Samsung Galaxy S21 than on the Samsung Galaxy S20 at the end of the day. So in terms of that, I think that's honestly one of the bigger differences between these two devices, in my opinion, is probably the software, including the battery life a little bit, but I think the software is probably the bigger difference between these two phones for sure. So that really pretty much covers it up. Now let's go ahead and do a speed comparison between these two phones as well. These two are, both flagships. So the S20 last year, as most of you know, came out with that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset with 8 gigabytes of RAM, where we now have the Galaxy S21 with its latest and greatest Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset, but we still have 8 gigs of RAM on the S21. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between both of these. Okay, now that we're back, let's go and clear out all the apps in the background, and it should only take a second. There we go. So let's start loading them up. Let's do Play Store, 3, 2, 1. And I just realized that I actually have to go and download the apps on the Samsung Galaxy S21. I totally forgot about that. All right, let's try this again. I just downloaded all those apps. Let's now officially go through them. Let's do phone calls, 3, 2, 1. And about the same on both, not a big difference. Messages, 3, 2, 1. About the same as well, not a ginormous difference. Let's go and do camera, 3, 2, 1. And pretty much the same thing. Even when I swipe out, they both kind of have the same thing going on. So really not a big difference there. Let's go into the Galaxy Store, which I don't have an account for, 3, 2, 1. And surprisingly, the Samsung Galaxy S20, the S20 is also on the right. The S21 is on the left, in case I didn't specify that before. Play Store, 3, 2, 1. S20 again is the faster one, surprisingly. I don't know why this is. Maybe it's the software. They're both on One UI 3. Scrolling through, you can see pretty much the same thing we got going on. Not a ginormous difference here, but already seeing some pretty interesting differences. Within this little folder, we do have a lot of apps, so we can start getting into it. Let's go ahead and do something like, whatever this one is, 3, 2, 1. And about the same. I didn't open that app on either one of these before. Let's do Duo, 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing, really not a big difference at all. Let's go and do something like, let's do Google Photos, 3, 2, 1. And, we were kind of on different panels on both, so we'll just let that one slide. As always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps we can go and get into. Let's do Snake versus Blocks, 3, 2, 1. And S21 was actually the faster one there, thankfully. Finally, we get to see a kind of a bigger difference. Gameplay-wise, they kind of look like the same thing. Not a, graphically intensive game by any means, but still very interesting. Glad that S21 was faster. Stack, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know why we just had that little pop-up come up, because I've been having that thing installed on here for so long. But I think the S21 was able to get into the specific thing faster. Let's do Tempo Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And let's just hope we don't get that same pop-up on here, which I don't think we will. And I've already opened up all these apps on both devices as well. So as you can see, there is actually quite a bit of difference here. The S21 does seem to be that much faster, which is really, really great. And we're already loaded up on the S21, substantially, at least noticeably faster than the S20, thankfully. So let's go and get into some gameplay. And I want to notice any glitchiness, anything like that. I don't really see it out the gate. They both kind of look like the same thing, but definitely loading the app was faster on the S21 for sure there, which is really, really good to see. Let's do Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. And probably going to be around the same thing. I would assume so you can see the S21 was actually faster here, pretty much in every single direction. I didn't fill out this specific thing here, so we'll just let that one go. But pretty much the S21 was faster there too, which is really, really good to see. Also, another side thing, with the curved panel on the S21, it was kind of hard to kind of swipe up. Because it's a flat panel, it is actually much easier to do that now. Let's go and do Quizlet, 3, 2, 1. And S21 again is the faster one here. Bofa, 3, 2, 1. And a little bit of a glitch on the S20, I realized when I clicked on it, but the pop-up was overall much faster on the S21 here as well. Twitter, 3, 2, 1. And again, the S21 was faster. And I thought I had Paper IO 3D here, but I don't. I guess we can go ahead and go back and kind of load up the first app that we did, phone calls. Okay, load up both the same here. And because they have the same amount of RAM, I don't think there's going to be any difference here at all. Let's go back to messages. Pretty much the same exact thing. I'm not really seeing a difference here. I don't think there's going to be a difference here at all. As you can see, pretty much the same thing. So I think when it comes down to the speed comparison, I think the S21 is faster just by a little bit. It's definitely not a crazy amount. I thought there was going to be more of a difference. There really isn't. The S20 is still extremely fast. I would say it's like 3 to 4% faster on the S21, as a whole, but still the S20 is a killer device for sure. So that pretty much covers up the speed comparison. Let's go ahead and hit on the cameras. Now, I will be doing a full separate comparison at some point for the cameras, but I'll go ahead and hit on them right now. Both phones have triple camera setups. Both of them have 12 megapixel wide angle lens. Both of them have 64 megapixel telephoto lens, and both of them have 12 megapixel ultra wide sensors as well. Now, in terms of the camera features, you're basically going to see pretty much the same features for the most part. 8K on both, 4K at 60 on both. There's really nothing crazy difference in terms of the camera UIs either. You're pretty much going to be getting the same exact setup on both. And because they have the same exact cameras for the most part, you're really not going to see a difference here either. On the Samsung Galaxy S20, I've been saying this since this phone came out. I've been saying that this is pretty much the best camera in the game right now, and I think the S21 may be a little bit better, but honestly, at this level, like, who cares? You know, this camera is still really good. The S20's camera is probably 99% of what the S21's camera is. We really didn't see anything super crazy, but visually, when I look at the S21's camera, it looks like a nicer sensor just because it doesn't look as weird and outdated as the S20's. So that's really the main advantage here, in my opinion, with the S21. Mostly what you're getting here, in my opinion, is a much better looking sensor on the S21, but I don't really think it's really that crazy of a difference. Like I said, the UIs are pretty much the same. They have pretty much the same thing going on. There really isn't anything that the S20 can't do that the S21 can do, and vice versa. They both have pretty much the same thing going on for the camera. So when it comes down to the camera setup, I will probably say, again, I'm going to reserve my full judgment for my full comparison when I do between these. Obviously, that's not going to happen for a while. But I'll probably tell you, when it comes down to it, the S20's camera is probably 99%, at least like 95% of what the S21's camera is. I really don't think there's anything super crazy between these two, if I'm being completely honest. So in terms of that, that pretty much covers it up. Now to kind of sum up this video, let me get this plan out of here, and to sum up the video and answer the question, which one should you buy? Should you keep your Galaxy S21, or should you just buy an S20, or should you buy an S21? Now here's what I'll tell you. There's pros and cons for both these phones, and neither of these phones are perfect, but when I think of a flagship, I automatically think of the Galaxy S20. I don't think of the S21 at all, and it comes down to a couple of things. First of all, in this point right now, they both kind of flop in the same things, which is the software. The biggest difference between these two is the software. Like I stated, you're getting a longer software supported phone on the S21, but other than that, I really don't like One UI. But since they both, flop in the same thing, in my opinion, there's no point even talking about it. Both of them have USB Type-C. Both of them have tremendous cameras on the back. Both of them have beautiful displays. But there's another really big difference here. 1440p panel on the S20, 1080p panel on the S21. You're getting, I guess, better battery life on the S21, but you're getting arguably a better display on the S20. You're getting expandable storage on the Galaxy S20 as well. And you're also getting a glass back on the Galaxy S20. This back feels better than what we're getting on the S21. However, the back of the S21 looks better, which is very funny. It's kind of like this one feels better, but this one looks better. But a lot of the differences here may be, visual changes, but that micro SD card slot is kind of an annoyance. And, the fact that you're getting it on the S20 is just one extra feature that you're getting on the Galaxy S20 that you're not getting on the S21. If I had to go and pick up one of these, I would probably end up picking up the Samsung Galaxy S20, if I'm being completely honest, just because it's a cheaper phone and you can pick it up for less than what the S21 is. Both of them are still getting support. Really, the S21 is going to be getting, I guess, longer software support and faster updates for the most part. But other than that, the S20 is like almost 95% of what the S21 is. I feel like I'm even missing out on some cool feature that the S21 brought, but it really doesn't matter because it's just like there's nothing super crazy between these two that I can't think of off the spot. I've already done all my research. I've already done everything. The Galaxy S20 in some ways is the better phone. I would not go and upgrade from my S20 to my S21. I don't think I would do it, to be completely honest. They're so close. And honestly, in some ways, it's almost like a downgrade. So that really pretty much covers it up. Like I said, if you want to pick up either one of these, links will be down in the description. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also, check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my other channels. More importantly, everything else. I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.